For this Cancun lace boxy top, you are going to need size 8 US straight needles, or you can use long circular needles. You need about 500 yards of DK weight yarn. I use worsted weight yarn, so that works as well. You need scissors and a tapestry needle. And before we begin, just a little disclaimer, I switched cameras. I used a different camera that I don't normally use, and it was blurry the whole time. That makes me so sad. So I'm sorry that it's blurry. Don't hate on me because I'm already hating on myself. It won't happen again, even though the next 2 videos will be the same because I recorded it with the same thing. But yeah, anyways, I thought I'd let you know. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we need to cast on 99 stitches. So we're going to need a long tail, and then we make a slip knot. Okay, so I just twist the yarn, and then I grab the one that's underneath and pull it through the loop. Tighten it. Okay, and now this is how I hold it. I put my thumb and index finger in between both of the yarns, and then I grab with my other fingers, and then I pull apart. And I get my needle, and then I pick up this one. I go over to the other side and go through those. Come back over here, go through that loop. So that's 1, 2. Okay, hold it, pick this one up, go over there, go in between those, in between this one. Okay, that's how you cast on. We need to cast on 99. Okay, now that we have 99 stitches on our needle, we are going to knit all rows for 1.5 inches. So when we knit, we put our needle to the front, to the back. And then we wrap our yarn around our left needle counterclockwise. And then slide it off. Okay, let's do our next one, front to back, counterclockwise, and pull it off. Okay. Okay, so do this all the way to the end of the row. Okay, so that's my first row. What you do is you turn it over so that your work is now on the left side, and then you knit again. Front to back, bring it around. Okay, so we're knitting until our piece measures 1.5 inches. I knitted 9 rows for my 1.5 inches at the bottom. Okay, so we start from the bottom to the top. So let's start with the eyelet stitch. Row 1 is knit. Okay, so just knit all the way. In rows 2 and 4, we purl. So we put our needle from the back to the front, and our yarn is in the front. And we wrap it around and and slide it off. So back to front, our yarn's in the front. Okay, purl all the way to the end of the row. So this is what it looks like. I've got 2 knits there. Now for row 3, we knit 2. And then we yarn over, so yarn's in the front, and we knit 2 together. So you go through our second stitch and our first stitch, like that, and you just knit them together. And then you knit 1. Then you repeat from the asterisk, so yarn over, and knit 2 together, and knit 1. And this will create a little hole. Okay, in row 4 you purl, and then remember you knit 4 rows before your next lace stitch. Alright, so after you finish this row 3 and do row 4, you're going to knit 4 rows, and then you will start your B drop stitch. Now for the drop stitch. We knit 1, and then we knit 1, and then we wrap 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then we do that again, knit 1, and wrap around 3 times. This one's really fun, and it actually takes up a lot of the length, so that makes it nice, because then the project goes by a little faster. If you haven't seen my drop stitch cowl, you should go check that out. That's so fun and fast, and seriously, the cutest cowl. I love it. Okay, so keep doing that. Now we knit 1, knit 1, and then you drop. Okay, knit 1, and then you drop the other stitches. And that is it. Kind of fun. Okay, after we do this row, we're going to knit 4 rows. Then we're going to work on D. I also wanted to show you that in the pattern it says to knit 4 rows after each little lace stitch. Well, if you do that after a drop stitch one, you will get 3 of these ridges, and all these other ones have 2. It's fine, it looks good, and it won't really matter, but if you want it to be just like 2 of them like I did, I only did 2 rounds, so then you have 2 ridges after each lace part. So it doesn't really matter, but I thought I would let you know if you want it like that. Only do 2 rows instead of 4 after you do a drop stitch. Now for D, the solid mesh stitch. For row 1 we knit, and rows 2 and all even rows we purl. So I'm finishing up row 2 right now. Okay, now for row 3 we are going to knit 1, then yarn over, then you slip 1 stitch knitwise, so you go through it like you're going to knit, but you slip it, and then you knit 2, and then you pass the slip stitch, which is this one, over your 2 stitches. So let's do it one more time. We yarn over, slip 1 stitch knitwise, and then we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to pass our slip stitch over like that. Okay? So you just keep on doing that to the last 2 stitches and you knit 2. So rows 5 and 7 are the same thing as row 3. You're just doing it at a different time. So like row 5, what you do is you yarn over first and then you slip 1. Okay, so let's slip 1, and since we're supposed to do a yarn over, we'll do it right now just like that. Okay, and then that'll create an extra stitch. Then we knit 2 stitches. And then you pass the slip stitch over. Alright. Also, you need to do a row 8, which is a purl. And then you can go and do your knit 4 rows, and then we'll start on our C, netting stitch. Ready for C, netting stitch. Do this for 8 rows. You knit 1, and we yarn over and knit 2 together. Then our last stitch, you just knit 1. So we're going to yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. Alright, that's how you do the knitting stitch. I think it looks really cool. And do this for 8 rows. And then that's how you do all the lace stitch. So you just follow along with this chart, and you can also make it as long as you want. So if you don't like how short it is, then add a few different lace stitches, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and then I will meet you at the very end when we have to bind off. Okay, so here is, I added more rows and I wanted to show you what it looks like. So here's a picture. Okay, so now this is my last row, and I did the garter stitch, which is knit each row 9 times. Also, with this pattern and the different lace stitches, at the very end, I needed an extra stitch and it wasn't my fault. So what I did, I'll just show you. I just grabbed that one and I put it over, and then I flipped my work over and I just knitted it or slipped the stitch. And yeah, so if that happens to you, don't be like, what did I do wrong? Because it's not your fault and it'll turn out just fine. Okay? Okay, so here we go. We're going to bind off, and we knit 2. And I usually bind off a little looser than what I usually do. Get our first stitch and we bring it over to our second and off the needle. Now I'm going to knit this one, so we have 2 on the right needle. Get our first one, up and over and off. Okay. And that's how you bind off. So do this all the way to the end of the row. Okay, so I just pull this yarn. I'm gonna pull out quite a bit so that we can sew where the sleeves are. And cut it, and then I just pull the remainder out. Bam! Okay? Okay, so for the side seams, the sleeve is supposed to be 10 inches. So if you made your shirt longer, then go by the sleeve size and then just go up to where it ends to be 10 inches for the hole to put your arm through your sleeve. If not, if you didn't make it larger, then you're going to sew for 6 inches. And this is all I'm doing. So I put it inside out, right? And then I'm just going to sew through like that. You can use a mattress stitch if you want. That's pretty cool. I did it in this video and I really liked it. But this is pretty easy to do it like this. Okay, so this is how I'm sewing my sides. And I'm using the tail, but if your tail isn't long enough, then you just add a strand of yarn. Okay. Don't forget to block your sweater. It makes a huge difference in how your sweater lays. You can either hang it to dry or you can pin it. Thanks for knitting along with me. Let's make something else together. Just click on the picture on what you want to make next and it will take you to that video. Alright, see you later!